Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. PSG ramp up the style to leave Slot and Liverpool looking like yesterday's men. These are strange times for Liverpool Football Club still, and until anyone specifically says otherwise, the champions of England. It is a mark of where the team is that on an oddly tension-free night in Paris there were reasons to be pleased, but also not to be pleased about being pleased. Pleased that Liverpool's players didn't give up or stop trying. So that's a tick. Pleased that they only lost 2-0 against a Paris Saint-Germain team who were able to approach this first leg carelessly, to showboat a little, to approach the scoring of a goal in the style of a temperamental high-end Parisian pastry chef, always trying to create the perfect deconstructed millefeuille tour de Vanille infinite, when all you really need is a biscuit. And pleased at the end that rather than passively aggressively taunting the traveling fans, Dominic Szoboszlai instead walked off down the tunnel alone while his teammates wandered over in pursuit of Arne Slot, out there pointedly making nice, that lovely soft round head gleaming a little sadly under the Paris lights like a weak spring moon. This will qualify as an improvement. The tie is still alive. Perhaps some kind of deep Anfield voodoo can be summoned next week, but Liverpool have lost 5 of their last 8 games as the season narrows. They're 5th in the league but only 3 points ahead of Everton in 8th. More to the point, Paris Saint-Germain just looked like a far superior football team. It is an unfair comparison for most clubs. You don't have to be a single-city Petro Project glamour toy with an economically irrational funding model to be good at football. But it doesn't hurt. There are no limits here. This team should always have been this good. The issue really is the way PSG were so much better by highlighting the extent of Liverpool's regression, the lack of pattern and structure in the team. What is this thing meant to be? What does a Liverpool goal look like anyway? What is the complete Slot 2 Liverpool performance? The moment of the game was PSG's second goal in the 65th minute, scored by the sublime, unignorably entertaining Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, who took an instant forward pass from Joe Neves and then did 3 brilliant things in the space of 5 seconds. First, he surged inside 2 Liverpool players, all elite torque, balance, handling, not really seeming to run or really move his legs but gliding at annihilating speed. Then there was a refusal to go over as Ryan Gravenberch hacked at his heels. Kvaratskhelia is such an unusual footballer. His body is shaped oddly. He seems to have semi-tubular legs, ankles as thick as his calves, a mooching, socks-down presence like the drummer in a 1990s indie band has reluctantly admitted to being the world's greatest maverick left-winger. Finally, he eased past Joe Gomez, swerved away from Georgi Mamardashvili who just squatted in front of him, mesmerized by this gliding figure with its oddly fuzzy, downy woodland quality. Like a very clever hedgehog has learned to walk on its hind legs and perform high-speed tricks with a football. The right foot shot into the net was another way of showing off his balance, not breaking stride as he ran off to celebrate, leaving Milos Kerkez in the net and the entire Liverpool defense exploded behind him. It was probably enough to euthanize this tie out of existence, and by the end 2-0 felt like something to be pleased about. Given Liverpool had come to Paris with fear in their hearts after the evisceration by Manchester City, like a boxer sat on his stool, legs already wobbled, dreading the bell. That note of fear that doesn't sit well. Has a Liverpool team ever progressed this far in the European Cup with no real sense they have a chance of actually winning it? Paris had been a lovely sunlit place on Wednesday. The pre-match show was fun and pantomime fierce in the classic Paris style, flashing lights, smoke, a wildly feral PA announcer shout growling the names of the PSG players like a wine-ravaged werewolf in its death throes. But the opening exchanges were basically men in red shirts running around quite near a football match. Liverpool's plan was to press high, Slot up on his touchline from the opening seconds, whirling his arms, seeing spaces, imagined disasters. Slot in his early months was shrewd, smooth, round, twinkly like an effusive Belgian hôtelier. These days he seems bloodshot and fretful, trussed into his slacks and bomber jacket like a pub singer who had a hit in the 1980s. Here PSG were just so much more assured, so much more certain in their movement, so in control of the ball at times there was a sense of show, of enjoying it a little too much. They really could have been 4 goals up with more ruthless finishing. And from here Liverpool will contemplate next week, not so much with hope but with hope of saving some sense of themselves of still looking like a team. Second news is Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk up for vast PSG challenge but admits season unacceptable. Virgil van Dijk has compared the scale of Liverpool's task against Paris Saint-Germain to that against Barcelona in 2019, but conceded belief may not be as strong in Arne Slot's team amid an unacceptable season. Liverpool require another remarkable Anfield comeback to salvage their Champions League aspirations after losing the first leg of their quarterfinal against PSG 2-0 on Wednesday. The scoreline flattered the Premier League champions, who were outclassed at the Parc des Princes, yet Van Dijk is 100% convinced the tie can be transformed on home soil. Memories of Barcelona in 2019 fuel the captain's conviction. Jurgen Klopp's side were 3-0 down after the first leg of their semi-final against Lionel Messi's Barcelona, but won 4-0 on an unforgettable night at Anfield en route to winning the European Cup for a sixth time. Ousmane Dembele's wastefulness in Paris, where he missed an almost identical chance to his stoppage-time effort at the Camp Nou 7 years ago, offered another parallel for Liverpool to cling to. Back then, you play one of the best teams in Europe with obviously one of the best players ever in that team, and we had injuries, Van Dijk said. And now we play against the best team in Europe. They're the European champions, so I think it is similar in terms of on paper, probably no one gives us a chance. It starts with the belief that comes within yourself. It starts with the belief that we get from our manager, the right game plan, and the intensity that we have to put in from the first second to the last if you really want to achieve something. That's what I want. And that's what I'm going to tell my boys. We have to show it. We have to show the desire, show the fight. That's the least you have to do as a Liverpool player. Van Dijk insisted Liverpool displayed the fight against Luis Enrique's team that was lacking in last Saturday's FA Cup quarterfinal defeat by Manchester City. However, after 16 defeats in all competitions this season, 17 including the loss on penalties in the Community Shield, the Netherlands, International admits Liverpool's current side do not stand comparison with that of the Klopp era. It's unacceptable, the defender said of the defeats. It's the reality, it's the big reality, and that's why it's so disappointing, and it's very tough to deal with it. Things will eventually always come to an end, including my time at a certain point. At the moment, the reality is that we are inconsistent, we are losing too many games, we're having some good moments, and we don't stay consistent in that sense. But there was a time also before we had all those good years, and we came out of that as well as a club. It's down to us as players to actually realize that we have to do it all together. We need each other. At the moment, we lose too many games and the performances have just not been good, and we are struggling to find consistency. It's not easy, but the reality is it is like that, and you have to own up to it, deal with it, and improve it. At a certain point, things come to an end, and then others have to carry on, hopefully with successes. Liverpool had only 2 days to train with the three-man central defense that Slot deployed in Paris, the first time he has adopted that formation in his time at Anfield. Despite losing 3 games in succession, beginning with the 2-1 defeat at Brighton, Van Dijk believes Liverpool's recovery in the last 16 against Galatasaray and last season's performance against PSG at Anfield offer hope for Tuesday's second leg. The captain added, "Obviously, it's a different quality team that we face, with all due respect to Galatasaray. But the game we played against them, PSG, last year we lost on penalties, but if you analyze that game, we started so well, full of energy, created the biggest chance in Mo Salah when Nuno Mendes blocked the ball. That could have changed the game. You need everything clicking together to turn this around, because we play against a team that is just outstanding in every department. But it also comes back to yourself and to the belief and the pride. We are Liverpool. That's why this particular moment hurts so much personally, and it should hurt as well for everyone in the dressing room."